ップデートは難しいです。
It's pretty difficult to answer because when we develop fighting games, we try to keep the core community in mind and also the general audience who like to play these games. But currently, the situation is with fighting games. You have Street Fighter V just released. A lot of people are playing that fervently. We have a large crowd out there that are waiting for Tekken 7. So we don't want to split these communities. So the window that's a good window to release Tekken Cross Street Fighter is something that's become much more difficult recently. So it's kind of on hold for the moment, I guess you could say. Tekken 7でやろうと思ったりする。
正直どうだろうね、その。
That's a difficult question because at first glance, a fighting game looks like it might be something that would work well free to play. As you mentioned, we had the Tekken Revolution, and because the fighting game started in the arcade where you pay as you go, 100 yen or $1 per play. We tried that online virtually, and it's kind of tough. But then if you make the game totally free to play, it's kind of hard to get enough revenue to support the game. So it was quite difficult. Honestly, for Tekken 7, Harada would rather have a package, your traditional way of selling the game, so that we could include all of the elements that we want without changing the game design and such to match that model, but just to provide a Tekken that everyone expects. やり方って
対策パニッシュがなんかあるかっていう。
そこはまだ未定で。
そうだね。家庭に関しては未定だね。まず一つは。
Well, Tekken 7 started in obviously the arcade, which is very hard to pull out the LAN cable or something like that. And Tekken 7 is actually the first fighting game in the arcades that does networking battles now. But we don't have that problem to date because the user themselves can't shut off the LAN. But when we make the jump to console, where we haven't really mentioned our plans regarding rage quitting so far, but we can say that in the past, obviously we're keeping our eyes on what other titles are doing and what users respect, what kind of expectations they have regarding that. But in the past, Tekken has also kind of displayed a player's, a disconnect rate before you decide to fight them, and then the chooser could decide not to fight that person if the disconnect rate was pretty high. So we have done some things like that in the past already, and we're still thinking about what to do this time. ぶつけて、
そうね、
しばらく
クイッター同士ってことでしょ。
あれは面白いよね。
個人的には昔。
Personally, Harada was just saying that back when he used to play Ultimate Online, when someone would do something bad, like be very vulgar or rude to someone, they would get thrown in a virtual jail where their character was on display. They were muted, but people could say whatever they wanted to those people for a few hours, and the person had to endure that if they wanted to continue playing outside of that. So to have something similar for Tekken would be kind of interesting if you had a rage quitter in a virtual jail and they have to fight another rage quitter, and until they win they can't escape, and their main character would be locked on the main character select screen. Maybe would be kind of a fun way to address that. 多分例のインタビューの話だとも入れ替わったじゃん。
そのことかな。
わかんないけど。
There
is one. I forget. I think we're in the UK. Ono-san was with us. It was, I think the media was from the UK. I'm not sure, but they were your casual audience that didn't know a whole lot about gaming, and they just happened to be at the event. So when they came in, they said, "Oh, hello, Mr. Ono," to Harada, and the opposite for Ono. So they both looked at each other and they thought, let's do this. And they'd be their other counterpart. And so Harada went on about the Street Fighter series and the history and legacy, and Ono-san the same for Tekken. And the whole time, the press had no idea. But I'm sure that the viewers told them that when they actually heard it, because it was the actual TV crew. So. 客がなんか変なことやらかしたとかっていうの。でもよくあるじゃん、ヤクザのあれとかさ。
うちはそうですね、新宿って場所だったんですよ。
Well, back in the day, he was in Shinjuku, which is actually the location of if you know Sega's game Yakuza, that's where you kind of go around there. And yeah, so his arcade was in that area. So there was a lot of Yakuza back in the day. They would come in and ask for protection money. And as a company, we don't pay that. So it was always the case that he would send them away. It was usually the chimpira, which is kind of very low-level Yakuza, punks per se. But one day you had these 3 guys in suits that looked like the real deal. And Harada was quite young at the time, and he got kind of scared and went to the back office and got the manager. And the manager says, "Okay, Harada, go in the back and hide for 10 minutes. I'll take care of it." And there's these 3 guys in suits. They look like high-level, authority members of the Yakuza. And then so the manager comes back later, and he goes, "Harada, you fool! What are you doing?" That was actually one of our company employees. And so he's very famous in our company, but the guy in charge of, I think you would say, regional sales at the time for the arcade division, it was actually him and some of our company people, but he looked exactly like the real thing, and Harada got scared.